Hello, this is Jim Boone, and you're watching SFX 360.
Okay, this is Palladium from SFX 360. We're at THQ Gameday for Red Faction Armageddon. Executive producer Jim Boone. Jim, how you doing today?
Great, how are you doing?
Excellent. You know, I've been a big fan of Red Faction since the first one. Played Guerrilla, played them all, and I gotta say, this one has really taken the cake for me. The fact that you drop right into the action. It's not something where you have to go through missions, go through the stories. So
right.
pretty much, what can people expect from, since last time I went to Mars, what are people going to expect now?
Boy, it's definitely a pretty different experience from the Red Faction Guerrilla days. What we tried to do is to come up with a sort of circumstance that was very fresh and different from any of the ones you've seen in any of our previous Red Faction games. And so with Red Faction Armageddon, one of the things we did was right off the bat was we put you in the surface, we kind of let you see what the surface is like, and then we proceed to destroy the surface and send everyone underground. They have to go beneath to try to survive in this new environment because the surface is just utterly devastated. And yeah, and to your point, we drop you right in the action in the beginning, and you're an essential part of the events that take place. So we wanted you to understand exactly what was going on with it, to be a part of it. So you go beneath. 10 years roughly goes by, you're trying to rebuild your civilization, and unfortunately around this time, you unearth these horrific creatures that start going loose throughout the world. And as Darius, the main character in this game, is the grandson of the main character from Red Faction Guerrilla. He's trying to figure out what is going on in the world. Have these aliens gotten loose? And they have. It's called Armageddon for a reason.
Exactly.
And he's trying to figure out what he can do to help save all of his people.
Now, tell us about some of the new weapons that are coming out. I really like the Magna Gun. That was really very cool.
Yeah, Magna Gun is definitely it's our signature weapon for our game. It's a pretty simple concept where you fire the first projectile out into a destructible object. Fire your second projectile where you want that to go, and it will bring everything and come slamming in. So you can do a bunch of different things with that. You can do basic things like if you just want to shoot an alien and fling one alien into another alien, you can, all the way to the side of a wall, grab the gigantic slab of concrete and send it hurtling into an enemy human. You can do all kinds of creative things with the Magna Gun.
Right. Now, why did you choose to go underground instead of keeping up in civilization?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons we did it actually, and so the first reason we did it is that I'm always very proud of everything that we did on Red Faction Guerrilla in terms of the look of the world, but we always joke around also about there are only so many ways we could make Red Rock Mars look a little different because it's just Red Rock Mars. And so the first thing we did when we took everything underground was that it gave us a chance to come up with a whole different environment, a different palette. You know, you have the magma environments, ice environments, rock, just a lot of different locales that the player will be able to journey through. And so that really helped us out from a visual standpoint to give you when you're going through your hero's journey, you're seeing a lot of these different environments. But then the other thing that it did from a gameplay standpoint was rather than having destruction just in buildings on the ground, now we can put them up on the walls. We can put them on the ceiling. So if you want to destroy this light fixture on the ceiling and have it come crashing down on an enemy, you can. So you have these giant pipes on the side of the world, and you can just use your Magna Gun to grab them and fling them into an enemy. You can do that.
So pretty much everything is indestructible.
Yeah, anything that is man-made is destructible.
Right.
And you can just go crazy with it.
Now, also, talk about some of the creatures, the aliens that I've seen in the game. I mean, tell us about some of those creatures and how you came up with those creatures in your mind. What envisioned you to come up with those creatures?
Absolutely, yeah. So we have a number of different aliens that we have in the game. We have everything from the base unit, which are the creepers, which will kind of crawl around the ground in packs. If you take them on individually, they're not very difficult, but in packs, they can be a bit of a threat. To the Ravagers, which are a more standard unit, who will leap around onto the walls and attack you from range. They will close in on you. They have these really large melee weapons that they'll be able to use on you. We have a Berserker, which is this really large enemy that will take a lot of damage, but dish a lot of damage out. And he'll go crazy. When he gets close to being killed, he'll actually charge the player and then detonate on him. So you have to be very careful about it. Gosh, we've shown the Monolith, which is one of the support units for the aliens, where it's this gigantic creature that will emerge from the ground, from bursting up.
I saw that.
And, and it will augment all of the aliens in the area. You see a little bit of a green mist around them to know that they're influenced by the Monolith, and what that does is it actually increases their health. so they're much more difficult to destroy. And the monolith will also shoot a projectile at the player, so that it can actually try to defend itself. And so it presents tactical choices for the player. Do you take out the monolith first, because in that way it reduces the health by getting rid of its buff, or do you take the aliens out first, because then you can just focus on the monolith, which is a little harder?
I try taking out the monolith first.
That's a lot of people do it that way, exactly. And there's no right or wrong. We've tried to balance it.
Even when I forgot the character.
Darius? Oh, Sam.
Sam.
Yes.
When she was saying, that they're harder to kill,
yes.
I was like, all right, I got to take the monolith.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
So when Sam was saying that, I was like, all right, got to take the monolith instead of taking out the creatures. Got to take the monolith. But that was kind of tough to take out. But I finally
but that's the way to do it. Exactly.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part of the game? Since you're the producer of the game,
right?
What's your favorite part of the game that you put into it and like, this is my favorite part of the game?
God, there's so many aspects. It's almost hard to choose one. I will say that a couple of highlights, I guess, because it's hard for me to pick one. One is the magnet gun, just because it's such a fun thing to get your hands on and just start playing with. Another aspect is just some of the basic destruction that we do in the game, where we put together these scenarios in a way where we have some pretty exotic things that you have to destroy, some very large structures, some very key installations you have to destroy that are a lot of fun to figure out how do I destroy that while fighting all the enemies that are around me. Some of the vehicles as well. We have these, if you saw in the mission, the four-legged walker, you can actually pilot that vehicle at one point in the game. So we have some pretty exotic vehicles that you'll be able to drive, which I'm pretty excited about. So probably hard for me to choose one, but one amongst those would be my favorite.
Awesome. Well, Jim, thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
check out Red
it.
Faction Armageddon. Definitely check it out. sfx-season.com. Full review, preview, everything about this. So check it out. Red Faction Armageddon.